I don't know if you're aware, but cancel culture is a huge topic on the internet right now, and it seems like everybody left and right, from politicians, public figures, YouTubers, The Bachelorette, everybody has been getting canceled at varying degrees. And I have to say, as a third-party observer, it's been really entertaining and educational to watch it all unfold. It seems that of all the voices speaking out about cancel culture, the loudest ones seem to fall into one of two camps. Camp number one. This camp seems to paint cancel culture as a frivolous phenomenon whereby keyboard warriors scour the internet for one wrong tweet or one wrong video to then ruin the life of its originator, who is often painted as an otherwise innocent person who just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and having said the wrong thing. Camp number two are the keyboard warriors whom camp number one has staked its claim against. Camp number two's manifesto is a lot simpler than camp number one's. It is to shine a light on abuses of power and let public opinion serve its karmic duty to right what is wrong in the world. To this camp, cancellation isn't frivolous. It is citizens of the internet exercising their right to speak out and derive strength in numbers to hold problematic people and problematic institutions to account. Is it obvious to you yet where my bias lies? What if I told you that I've actually been in both camps and I see validity on both sides? And I've even been canceled myself. And while this experience of being canceled, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone because at the time it felt terrible, I'm actually very grateful for the learning opportunity that came about from it, especially at the time that it did. So this happened at my first job out of university, and let's just say it was a real lesson in the school of hard knocks. Today's video, instead of making any points one way or another, I simply just want to share with you an experience that happened in my early career about the time that I got canceled, so that we can, hopefully you can get a sense of the lessons that I was able to extract from the experience, because those lessons have stuck with me for a long, long time, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to carry them with me. Ooh, I guess I'm gonna have to tell you what actually happened now. Here's a disclaimer. I'm still, to this very day, I'm ashamed of what I did, and I'm not proud of the mistake that I made. And the only reason why I'm able to make this video is because the amount of gratitude I have for the learning lessons that came from the experience outweigh the shame of the experience itself. So bear with me. The year was 2014, and I was working my first job out of college. Like I said before, I was working as a social media manager at a tech startup. At the time, everybody was on Twitter, and it was really easy to grow organically. I started using a technique where I would incessantly click the follow button until I would wake up the next day to hundreds of Twitter users having followed me back. Rinse and repeat until boom, I woke up with 24,000 Twitter followers seemingly overnight. And because this is 2014, people back then actually read the stuff that you posted on Twitter and they engaged with it. Essentially, I had hacked my way into having an audience, which was pretty sweet at the time. In October 2014, a national tragedy occurred in my nation's capital of Ottawa, Canada. What had happened was that a gunman had arrived on Parliament Hill and started opening fire. He killed one person and injured three more before he himself was shot and killed by the RCMP. The person killed by the gunman was Corporal Nathan Cirillo, who was a Canadian soldier who had been on sentry duty at the time the incident occurred. That's my brief account of what happened. Now, what had happened to me at the time of this shooting was that I was sitting at my desk at work doing my usual marketing things until my boss walked in and he gave me a rundown of what was going on. He then asked me to write and publish a tweet promoting the startup's product because he felt it would be helpful in crisis situations like the one that was going on that day. I resisted and I said I didn't think it was a good idea. Then he proceeded to give me a list of all the reasons why it would be a good idea. And also, he was my boss. Nonetheless, I ended up caving and I wrote the tweet and I went for lunch. This actually still makes me nervous just talking about it, because when I came back from lunch that day, it was to a barrage of responses. People responded to my tweet and they were calling me out. They were saying, shame on you. You're a disgusting human being. How dare you use a national crisis for personal gain? You know, some people had retweeted my tweet and said, don't support the startup that she works for. And I had lost hundreds of followers that day. So what I did was I immediately took my tweet down and I wrote another tweet and I apologized the best that I could. And then I went into my boss's office and told him what happened. His response to me was, oops, I guess we shouldn't have done that. This incident shook me up so much. I think I ended up going home early that day because I truly had not experienced something of that nature before. So I've had the benefit of over 5 years now to process what exactly went down. These are the lessons that I learned, and these are really profound lessons that shaped the way that I saw social media and my role as a citizen of the world. Lesson number 1 is that you are responsible for everything you put out on the internet. Intentions do not absolve you from responsibility. Now, you could divert the blame onto a clueless boss, and you could say it wasn't your intention to cause pain at all. But if you did cause pain, if your words resulted in other people being hurt, that's all on you, and you should apologize for it and rectify that pain if doing so is something you care about. Lesson number 2. To be a responsible social media citizen, you have to be listening at least as much as you are speaking. One of the most beautiful things about social media to me is that it really gives you a sense of where the pulse of public discourse is at. Social media is a great educational tool for anyone who wants to learn about various different viewpoints or lived experiences, and it's great for expanding your mind. There seems to be a lot of fear these days. Fear about saying the wrong thing in this climate of sensitivity or political correctness, as some would call it. But in my experience, if you are listening to people of other walks of life, of various different perspectives, if you are listening more than you are speaking, then you don't have to be afraid about saying the wrong thing, because you would just have a sense of how people are feeling. Lesson number 3, if you've been canceled, there is a way back, with an asterisk. Obviously, there are cases in which, the person getting canceled has committed such heinous acts and heinous crimes that we just don't want to hear about from them anymore, and they deserve to be in jail or what have you. But if we're talking about incidences where it's simply a matter of somebody not exercising critical thinking, not exercising good judgment, and they make a mistake and they demonstrate that they want to learn from the mistake and own up to it, I feel like we should all be giving those people a chance. And here's the thing, I think that is our climate today. I think that for the most part, people are willing to listen to apologies. Clearly, because apologies are a huge trending thing on YouTube right now, apparently. I find it so interesting that if you look at some of the people who've been canceled in the last 2 years, you can name a bunch of people who have made comebacks after being canceled, after putting in the work. James Charles, Hannah Brown, Jimmy Fallon, even my own Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Do you remember the blackface controversy? Anyways, so apparently we all love him this year because, okay, fine. I'm being a little unfair. He's pretty awesome this year. This is where cancel culture can be productive, is if it calls people out for their wrongdoing, but then leaves room for the rectification of that same wrongdoing. I would like to believe that we live in a world in which most people are willing to forgive if they see that the work has been done to earn that forgiveness. And I would like to believe that we live in a world in which people who make mistakes do have the opportunity to learn and come back from their wrongdoings. But here's the thing, if you make a mistake, the onus to learn from it and to come back from it is on you. Until you do the work, it should never be assumed that you deserve forgiveness, because forgiveness is to be earned. I think that's a principle that we can all live by. So in the beginning of this video, I sort of depicted the voices that are the most vocal about cancel culture, and I sort of put them in one of 2 camps. And I was being cheeky. But if you And I say this as somebody who has really tried to figure out what my views on cancel culture are, and it's evolved a lot over the years and even over the last few months. And I'm not saying I have the answers, but what I am saying is that when I look at both camps, I see that they both are making a statement about where society should be headed towards. And when I look at that vision that they paint, I see a lot of similarities in their respective visions. They both call for a society that runs on empathy, in which we're listening to one another and we're being understanding of other people's point of views and perspectives, and that we're not afraid to engage and reach across the aisle and learn. I don't think many people can say that that is a particularly contentious vision to be working towards. And I think that people just have they just have a disagreement about how we get there. This video is so hard for me to film because I just kept going on and on and on and on. But if you're here now, thank you for listening to my story time and for being with me in this. And I will see you in my next video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, or just whatever. If you don't want to, that's fine too. That's the message today, is nuance.